मेरे से शादी करेगा? नहीं करूंगा. अच्छा अब मैं बताती हूँ. ठुश 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 कट्टू, ये देख मैं नया ले आई. अरे तूने मेरा दिल तोड़ दिया. Like you know these weird like C-grade cinema max but real something you know is very like ये क्या हो रहा है. ये आप हमें करके दिखाओगे आप क्या अच्छे से करते.
मैं तो उपमन्यु का कर लेता हूँ थोड़ा सा.
अच्छा करो. हाँ आपका थोड़ा आवाज पैटर्न मुझे लगता है.
ऐसी क्या बात हो गई.
हाँ
तो देखो कोविड का सेकेंड वेव आ गया तो क्या करना फिर. और घर से बाहर निकल कौन रहा है. देखो सारी समस्या का हल सिर्फ एक है, घर में रहो. है ना. घर से बाहर निकलोगे किसी से मिलोगे कोविड हो जाएगा. कोविड की क्या प्रॉब्लम है, घर पे रहो. ठीक है ना. So this is a little bit here and there that
I legit felt like it was you, like it was Upmanyu talking.
Yeah, तू झूठी मैं मक्कार.
नहीं वो मैंने
नहीं देखी.
Because I realized sometimes breaking up with friends are the hardest breakups.
Yeah.
Like I haven't mourned breaking up with lovers as much as I've mourned sometimes breaking up with friends who I knew it's not working out with, you know, or both of us have just outgrown each other.
Right.
To get over the grief, you can't be on a call with your friend all the time. You know, some things don't have solutions. Some things have process.
Yeah, welcome to the Chillar guys. Today we have one of my favorite comedy creators, Shibani Bedi in the house. Or as we say, Gurgaon wali Buaji in the house. Welcome Shibani on the show. How are you feeling?
Deepak. I'm feeling well, as I told you. I've
Yeah.
just come from a house where fridge hasn't worked and it's peak summer. So I carry some stress right now with me, but it's all cool. I washed my hair, so I let the water take it all off.
How long has it been since you moved in Bombay? 1 month.
Yeah.
It's been a month or so.
Yeah, so we started looking for the house somewhere mid-Feb. And
Okay.
then second week of March I moved.
Okay. Okay. How are you finding Bombay?
It's been interesting. I mean, you know, I think over time I've grown more familiar with the city. So, you know, I came to Bombay when I was 21, I think, to study. And
What were you studying?
I was studying journalism and mass communication.
Okay.
And I think my college was in Townside. So, I had to look for a house there, all of that. And I was very young, very, you know, like slow on like adjusting to new environments.
Yeah. You're originally from Delhi.
Yeah.
Then you've always been in Delhi.
Pretty
like,
much.
Pretty
Yeah,
much.
yeah.
Okay, yeah. Carry on.
And then I moved to Bombay. I had no money, obviously. I was a student and I was also very displaced and homesick. And it was a very hasty decision. So I didn't enjoy. I was here for about a year.
Okay.
And I started working also. But my experience with Bombay was terrible back then.
Okay.
Lots of trauma.
क्या हुआ?
मतलब यार, so this city has a certain rhythm.
हाँ.
And if you are too hung up on the life you come from a different city with space and your own friends and all of that.
Yeah, damn.
If you don't really have good reason to be here,
Huh.
or if you don't enjoy whatever Bombay has to offer easily,
Yeah.
or you don't let the city grow on you,
Yeah.
I think personally, I feel like you'll have a hard
You'll head
time.
back.
Yeah.
Or you'll head back.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like I spent so much time hating on Bombay, and Bombay tried, you know, like people here are kind, things are.
Why did you hate Bombay?
I think maybe the space thing. Also, I came in the middle of monsoon, so the first 2-3 months of me being here was just rains. Like every chhata I remember, I
have not been here during monsoons. So how are
So
and I've heard a lot about Bombay monsoon. Ki, Bombay monsoons are to die for, and then the romanticization of wake up Sid and all. Like,
I don't think they are to die for 100%. They will kill you.
Yeah.
I mean, for the lack of a better word, if you're not prepared.
Yeah.
And I think I wasn't prepared, so I'd got 2 chhatas back then.
Yeah.
Okay, दोनों उड़ गए हवा में. मेरे जूते में फंगस लग गया. मेरे बैग में कुछ मोल्ड लग गया. तो I used to carry this one of fruit juices के stalls पे इतने बड़े छाते होते हैं ना, industrial छाता. I used to carry that, and everybody around me on the pavement would be like, क्या हो रहा है? But I'd be like, you guys, like, मुझे अपने आप को बचाना है. Anyway, I mean, I think what I figured is.
ले आओ भाई. आज हमारे इंटरप्शन होगा बिल्कुल कॉफी के साथ. शुक्रिया भैया.
Thank you.
हाँ.
Thank you. So I think I figured back then that the city tried to grow on to me, like to accept me. I just wouldn't let it. I met a lot of really good people here. Everywhere I took my pain and anger, I only found people who would hold space for it, soothe it, I got an acting gig also because I had a friend who used to work for a production house that I auditioned for, and then I managed to get that role. So
what role was this?
It was so it was a K serial.
Okay.
It was a Balaji telefilms TV show.
Very cool.
And I was playing the main lead's bubbly sister with red hair because she was radio jockey, but she was fat, so she had to be bubbly, you know. And that was terrible. By the end of it, we were just dancing, wearing gagar cholis. I was just a unprofessional but paid dancer.
Yeah, unprofessional but paid dancer. I like how you put it.
Yeah, I mean, I had no training, but I was dancing and I was wearing a lot of fancy shadi clothes which I've never worn my entire life. Life here is very tough. मतलब मैं 21 साल की थी जब मैं आई थी, उसके बाद अब almost 10-15 साल तक हो गए हैं, you know, that I've come here again to live, and I'm still struggling with the same things that I was struggling back then.
Like
Landlords, traffic, you know, space
Garmi.
again. Garmi to chalo, now I can afford an AC without worrying about, you know, bill and all. But I knew the things that I need to check and fortify before I came here, which I did. And उसके बावजूद भी it's not easy, you know. अगर ये घर हमारा छूट जाता है जो काफ़ी ढूंढने के बाद मिला हमारी specifications से, 11 महीने बाद if we realize the landlord is not a nice person and we need to leave because अभी भी उनके सारे appliances खराब हैं.
Yeah. We'll clip this. Send a clip to your landlord. कि देखो भैया क्या हो रहा है तुम्हारे घर पे, तुम्हारे घर के बारे में क्या हो रहा है.
So I feel like once we let go of this house, I don't know नया घर कैसा मिलेगा, क्या होगा. और काम के लिए भी मैं ट्राई तो कर रही हूँ लोगों से मिलने का, टू रीच आउट.
कैसे मिलते हो लोगों से?
यार सो काफी लोगों को तो मैं जानती हूँ. आई ड्रॉप इन अ मैसेज. देयर आर लॉट ऑफ पीपल आई नो हु वर्क, यू नो, either as writers or casting people or even actors who sometimes show interest.
So your network comes into play.
But you know, you can't outrightly ask anyone for work, and I don't think people outrightly, just because you are friends with them, does not guarantee that you will be the first name that, you know.
Interesting point. क्योंकि एक recently मैंने reel देखी थी. I'm not taking the person's name, and I'll tell you off camera. But that person had put out a reel asking for work. And it was very brave of her to sort of put it out.
Right.
And I really enjoyed that. I really liked the way, as I mentioned, the city can be cruel, where you think that you will get a lot of work and you will, you know, thrive in this city and maza aayega aur kill kar denge aur macha denge pura. But eventually you don't get work because जितना ही काम है, even though there is so much work, there is so much competition also. There are so many people vying for that just one role.
And there are so many layers to making it to a role or a project or something, because, you know, it's a very unstructured industry also.
Yeah.
It's not everything is merit based here. You know.
True.
Like it's like अगर आप नौकरी कर रहे हो, आपको पता है आप इतनी मेहनत डालोगे, अप्रेजल होगा तो आपका इतना तो रेज होगा ही. अगर नहीं होगा तो आप दूसरी नौकरी ढूंढ लोगे जहाँ पे आप एक पर्टिकुलर पोजीशन पे आप अपने आप को पिच करोगे और वो हायर कर लेंगे.
Right.
I don't think as an artist you have that structure. So obviously ये थोड़ा सा Hunger Games type situation तो है.
I think it's a task to more than I think coming to Bombay. I think surviving in a city like Bombay is a bit of a task.
Yeah. Because I think that's also something that I'm struggling with. क्योंकि मैं पहले जो बॉम्बे आती थी काम के लिए, I'd have a structure. कि चलो मैं
कि 3-4 दिन 5 दिन 10 दिन के लिए आना है.
हाँ, 2 दिन का
काम करो, निकलो,
दोस्तों से मिल लूंगी, जो कर लूंगी, चिल कर लूंगी, तो फिर घर जाऊंगी वापस. अब ये घर है. और अब अगर
I can relate to this so hard because I've moved like 7-8 months back.
Right.
What are your favorite movies, Shibani?
I have too many, Deepak.
Genre?
I think mostly fantasy fiction, thriller, murder mysteries, superhero films.
Recently कौन सी मूवी देखी?
यार मुझे देखो एकदम से कोई पूछता ना, मुझे याद नहीं आता है.
Recently मतलब अभी हफ्ते 10 दिन पहले कोई मूवी देखी हो तो?
हफ्ते 10 दिन पहले मैंने कोई पिक्चर आई थिंक देखी नहीं है.
Bollywood?
No, I saw.
Are you a fan of Bollywood?
I saw The Whale.
The Whale, okay.
Yeah.
How was it?
Very nice.
Okay.
It was it's. I mean, I couldn't watch it in the cinema hall.
Acha.
And this movie and this other movie, Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Okay.
They were very popular Hollywood films that released, which have won a lot of awards.
मैं थोड़ा हॉलीवुड कम ही देखता हूँ. मेरे को मतलब मेरे को लगता है I'm a proper ऐसा बॉलीवुड.
Oh, मैंने बॉलीवुड की I think maybe recently कोई नई रिलीज हुई पिक्चर तो नहीं देखी है.
तू झूठी मैं मक्कार.
नहीं वो मैंने
नहीं देखी.
देखा.
लग तो रहा है देखी है.
मुझे ना रिव्यूज नहीं पढ़ने चाहिए. And maybe it's also not a bunch of people I am fans of.
Yeah.
So maybe.
Oh.
But I did see Lal Singh Chadda much late. You know, I think that's the only.
ऐसा होता है ना कि
which
मूवी ऐसी कौन सी मूवी है जो जो बहुत फेमस है और it's been a kill, like it's been a kill everywhere it has been released, whether it's on theaters or OTT or even when it came on TV, people are glued to the TV screens, and you watched it much later in life. Like for me, that one of the movies was Rockstar.
Oh.
When Rockstar released, I was like यार ये and सब बातें कर रहे हैं.
Right.
क्यों रे Rockstar देखी और मैं एक दो सीन देखा था मैंने. मैं बोला हाँ देखी तो है pretend कर रहा हूँ कि हाँ देखा तो है और मैं देखा नहीं है. And then, you know, as in when you grow up, people are still discussing Rockstars. Even when Kun Fayak Kun is playing, people are like, oh, what a movie, man. What a movie. Ranbir Kapoor has killed it. And I'm like, yeah, great movie. Till the point I actually saw it, which was last year. And I enjoyed it. And that's when I realized that, oh, wow, this is what people are talking about. This is what people mean when they say, Rockstar dekho. It's actually a rock star of a movie. So, is there any movie of yours where, you know, for you कि इतना किल हो गया है बट आपने बहुत टाइम बाद देखा और आपको फोमो हो गया कि लोग बातें कर रहे हैं अब देख लेते हैं यार.
आई थिंक दिलवाले दुल्हनिया ले जाएंगे. वो जब मैंने देखी थी आई वाज यंग. हम लोग सबसे लेट शो देखने गए थे और हम
watched it in the theaters?
Yeah, I mean तब तो you know because it released in 1995 or something or
95 96.
Yeah, so I was very young. There was no multiplex culture.
I was born then.
Oh. Yeah, I mean even I was a child, you know, like I must
पैदा ही निकला ही था just.
Oh, okay. Oh gosh.
मूवी के पहले मैं निकल गया था.
I think I must have been 6-7 years old or something. I don't know. Around that age.
Yeah.
Anyway, we went to watch the film and रात का शो था और मैं और मेरा भाई तो सो गए.
Oh.
And I think we were all so tired and it was a long movie. We didn't enjoy it.
Yeah, it's a long movie.
And we were like, what are people going on about? It's so boring. We slept. फिर I think कुछ maybe जब मैं थोड़ी बड़ी हुई, I saw it randomly on TV.
Right.
And I was like, man, what a film.
What a film.
Today when I think about it, and the thing is, it's a very like mainstream Bollywood, you know, 4-quadrant movie.
Full Bollywood masala, full gaane, dialogues.
Yeah. But there's something about it that, you know, I think in this show, The Romantics, you know, Anupama Chopra says that it's a 4-quadrant film, which is that, you know, it satisfies
all aspects.
Yeah, you know, it makes your grandparents happy, it makes your parents happy, it makes Indians happy, it makes NRIs happy, it also makes young people happy, it makes rebellious lovers happy. It also bridges that gap between rebellious kids and their parents who are not in agreement, because, you know, at the end of the day, as Indians, we really crave our parental validation. Our mother-father wound sometimes, or the approval that we sometimes don't get from them can really damage us in ways that we can't even understand. And this movie fulfills that also. The Buaji in the end heart छोड़ बोलते हैं जा जी ले अपनी जिंदगी. So that way this movie was really like great, like, and I figured that much later, you know. जब मैं देखने गई थी तो मैं सो गई थी, फिर मुझे लगा था ये क्या बकवास है.
Interesting. Interesting. Do you invest money?
Yeah.
Where do you invest?
I think now I've started investing in SIPs and mutual funds. Yeah.
Manifestation पे आते हैं.
Oh gosh.
Do you manifest? Do you believe in manifestation?
I manifest, but manifest doesn't manifest me. So then I'm like, bro, you know. Yeah, but I do. I think I try.
Do you believe in manifestation? होता क्या है manifestation?
Yeah, so
like it's just dua in the world.
Yeah, somehow my timing is not very good. Manifestation somewhere is maybe with me we both have PCOD, so our moods don't match, you know. But sometimes it works.
I remember. Sorry to cut you there. Right. I remember I was watching this this podcast where Ankush was speaking with you.
Right.
And there uska bhi backstory hai. I was supposed to be hosting the show.
Me?
I was supposed to be hosting the
you
entire
were
show. वो एक
Oh.
कुछ तो deal आई थी.
Right.
And unfortunately I was not in the country. I was in the UK for my masters.
Right.
And they said कि this
Oh,
company
yeah.
के साथ एक deal है.
Right.
And आपको host करना है. मैं कहा कर लेंगे. But then they said कि नहीं सर in person shoot है.
Right.
तो आपको आना पड़ेगा.
Right.
और मैं था साउथहैम्पटन UK में था मैं. बोलते सर मैं बोला हाँ भिजवा दो फ्लाइट टिकट्स.
Right.
वो बोल रहे हाँ सर भिजवा देंगे. कहाँ से आ रहे हो फ्लाई कर रहे हो आप दिल्ली से आ रहे हो
Right.
बैंगलोर से आ रहे हो. मैं कहा मैं लंदन से फ्लाइंग करूँगा तो आप कर दोगे क्या.
Right.
But thank you for calling, sir. Have a nice day.
Budget नहीं है,
Have a nice
sir.
day. और phone काट दी.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so that's the story. But anyway, so I was watching that episode, and even then, I think Ankush mentioned that Shibani is much funnier in real life than what people see on camera. And
Yeah,
now I
I
can
try,
relate.
Deepak.
And now I can relate to
It
it.
doesn't always come out, you know.
Yeah, it's
but
true, it's true.
Sometimes, you know. when
It's true. Even I'm very funny in my head, but the thing with humor is I really want to try stand-up comedy once.
Oh.
Do you want to try stand-up comedy?
Maybe, but you know, I've realized.
यहाँ
if
तो हो
I
सकता है, यहाँ
start-
तो बहुत scope है.
हाँ, but अगर मैं ज़्यादा सोचने लग जाऊंगी ना, then I'll get very.
So I'll tell you, इसका भी
Then I'll
इसका भी एक तोड़ है. I don't know, मैं बोल तो जरा जैसे मैंने बहुत बड़ा
Right,
crack किया है.
right.
But I've spoken to a few people who
Right.
are comedians, and they've told me one thing. I said, यार, I very blatantly tell them that I'm very funny. ठीक है, मैं बहुत ही फनी हूँ.
Right.
बट वो एक होता है अपने दोस्तों में फनी होना, और एक होता है कि ऑडियंस के सामने फनी होना, वेयर
Right.
यू डोंट नो द ऑडियंस
Right. Right.
एंड यू डोंट नो द इंट्रिकसीज ऑफ द ऑडियंस कि वो कैसे बिहेव करेगी, क्या कैरेक्टरिस्टिक है ऑडियंस का, मेरे को पता नहीं.
Right.
सो आई आस्क्ड देम कि यार मेरे को परफॉर्म करना है, तो कैसे करूँ. देयर लाइक यू इवन इफ यू डोंट राइट अ स्क्रिप्ट, इट्स ओके, जस्ट राइट लाइक अ बेसिक
Yeah.
sketch of it,
Yeah. Yeah.
and do improv.
Right. Right.
And do improv comedy.
Right.
So just like अगर आपको से Uber का story share करना है, like a famous Uber cab story, you went to this Uber, this guy cancelled, and then
Right.
you're like अरे क्या है.
Right.
So you start off with that story and
Right.
then maybe ask them their experiences, like what has
Oh,
happened.
Like that.
Yeah, so वो sort of improv comes into picture, and then so I really want to. Do you want to try stand-up comedy? No,
I do.
Yeah.
I think मैं
I think you'll be
थोड़ा सा-
good. I think I have a feeling you'll be good.
Well, I mean, I hope. You know,
Yeah.
because I know how to be on stage. But
Yeah, that's-
If I start trying to be funny and if nobody laughs, then
That's an
I'll be like,
advantage, no? मतलब कि stage presence है. मतलब even
yeah.
for me, I think I have some bit of stage presence because I've been a speaker. So मैं last 7-8 साल से तो यही
Right.
बात कर रहा हूँ.
Right.
Colleges जाके,
Right.
corporate जाके, तो
Right.
मेरे को मज़ा आता है बात करना. And
Right.
one of the basic fears that I think a lot of people have is that
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
हाँ.
I'm just making sure that.
हाँ. तो one of the fear that I think a lot of people have is stage presence. उनको मतलब they have the skit and content and everything ready, but stage presence उनका नहीं है, which is why a lot of people falter.
Right.
कि कैसे present करना है अपने आप को. बहुत लोगों का confidence गिर जाता है when the moment they step up on stage.
Yeah.
कि यार script तो मेरे दिमाग में है,
Yeah.
but जैसे ही मैंने audience देखी, मेरा स्क्रिप्ट चला गया दिमाग से, ये
Right.
रेज हो गया यहाँ से.
Right.
So how am I supposed to, you know?
Right.
But I think you have good stage presence and you have that exposure also.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I've been doing theatre since a very young age, so I haven't done a lot of, I mean, improv theatre, honestly. But yeah, I mean, in the sense, how to work an audience is something that I know. How to work a stage is something that I know.
करना चाहिए. You should
Where
try.
to- Yeah, maybe I will.
We should try sometime together.
Right.
Like you go first and then I go.
Oh,
So
no,
that people
bro.
know that
You go. You
Shibani has killed it
figure
and
out.
then Deepak ने आके पूरा रायता फैला दिया.
gosh, नहीं दीपक. मतलब, I think you do it first. Then once you get better and start hosting,
Oh.
you know, open mics, then I'll come. So that you know, you
Yeah,
can also
yeah.
tell me ये कैसी audience है,
अरे
कौन सा venue है, क्या
आप तोड़ इंसान हो, आप फोड़ दोगे बढ़िया. मेरे को क्या है, मेरा core philosophy and I want your take on that also is friendship is the biggest commitment you can ever make.
Yeah, yeah.
What is your take on that? What
It
is your
the
take
biggest
on
commitment
friendship?
that you can ever make. It is also very underrated when it
Yeah.
comes to what it can do to you when it's nurturing and what it can do to you when it's toxic.
Oh yes.
Because I've realized
yes.
sometimes breaking up with friends are the hardest breakups.
Yeah.
Like I haven't mourned breaking up with lovers as much as I've mourned sometimes breaking up with friends who I knew it's not working out with, you know, or both of us have just outgrown each other.
Right.
So yeah, and sometimes, you know, your friend circle, these are the families you choose, you know, and if they are healthy and nurturing, they can provide you a lot of cushioning in life that you need. You know, over time I've realized having a solid support system
Right.
adds to your strength and your sense of self-worth, your sense of belonging, your sense of confidence, whatever. And just this sense of not being alone.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, to have good friends, the right kind of subscription.
Yeah. How do you? I don't know. How do you stick through the right friends?
Yeah, I feel like largely और ये चीज़ ना बहुत maybe
कैसे होता है?
समझाते
मतलब,
नहीं हैं.
हाँ.
Your friendships are supposed to, any relationship that you have with people
Right.
who can be sustained should be safe spaces.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
where you don't
No judgment.
fear being judged.
Yeah.
You can be heard, you
Yeah.
can be valued, you can be seen
Right.
and supported. And also be called out. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
like,
yeah. Very important.
Very important. Sometimes,
Very
you know,
important.
it
You need to
takes
call a
lot
spade a spade. Like,
yeah, like how Dumbledore sat in Harry Potter. It takes a lot of courage to stand to your enemies,
Yeah,
but even
yeah.
more to stand up to your friends.
yeah, very important.
So yeah, but as long as these are safe spaces where you know that whatever you're going through is not going to be weaponized.
Yeah.
Your feelings, your personal stories, your pain will not be used against you, where you'll not be judged based on the mistakes that you're making. And somewhere the intentions that will be guiding you, the intentions with which people will be guiding you are not malicious or selfish out there to sabotage you. Which you discover धीरे धीरे. But red flags तो हर relationship में होते हैं.
I'm sure. I'm sure.
Or I think yeah, those kind of friendships are worth sustaining. I feel like a lot of codependent people and toxic people who like sometimes just befriend you so that if they give you a, let's say, मैंने आपको बर्थडे पे एक सॉक्स दिया, अब आप मुझे सारी जिंदगी okay be there for me. Those kind of friendships are like no
Yeah,
bro,
yeah,
that kind of sisterhood,
yeah.
brotherhood I don't want.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
but yeah, everything else goes.
Matlab, I think what you're trying to say is adult friendships where you realize that, and I think I put out a tweet very recently where I said that it's not important to talk to your friends every single day to prove your friendship. Right?
Yeah.
And I understand that a lot of friends, especially for a guy, if you have female friends, they want some time of yours
Right.
to just talk and hang out and chill.
Right.
And I've had that, you know, that fallout where I've realized that, matlab, I'm not the person who will talk every single day to कल और आज में क्या बदल गया है?
Right. Right.
मतलब
Yeah,
अगर
but
हम
वो ना,
अगर हम हफ्ते 10 दिन बात करें तो समझ में
Yeah.
आता है कि हाँ ठीक है, there has been something
Yeah.
that has happened
Right.
that I can talk about.
Yeah,
Now
but
I know
think
the person.
Female men, that's a very toxic pattern to be in. I'll tell
Yeah,
you
yeah,
why.
true,
Because
true,
you know,
true,
as an adult, you have to be accountable for your own shit.
Yeah, true.
You can't burden your friends with your nonsense.
Yeah,
Nobody
yeah.
wants a liability.
Yeah.
And that's something that I really want to, you know, maybe put out because I feel like I've struggled understanding that. Sometimes a lot of people become friends with you because they need someone who can be liable for their bullshit. They need a cushion for their own shit.
Yeah.
Not realizing कि भाई वो तुम्हारा काम है. I will hold space for you when you need assistance. But I can't be assisting you all the time.
Yeah.
You know, you have things to say, think about it in your head, speak to a therapist. Don't, you know, like overwhelm your friends with the burden of like.
Interesting. तो आपने जैसे for example, अब ऐसा होता है कि you know there have been times where you know where people say कि I need you to be there for me. Are people necessarily seeking a solution? Yeah, they're just like clearing their own baggage.
I feel like sometimes it depends on what sort of need do people have.
Yeah.
You may go through a tragedy and you may need your people. Okay, but you also have to somewhere understand that your friends are also people.
Yeah,
They
true.
cannot help you through your grief and pain all the time.
True.
You know, you have room for someone else intervening and I don't know, lining your bed of nails with some roses.
Yeah.
Spend money, outsource a friend, basically a therapist who can
yeah.
help you understand how to go about processing that pain or whatever trouble you're dealing with. Because if you tire people out, they will fall. I mean, you know, kiski zindagi smooth hai na?
Yeah.
Then to have friends who are just constantly like tiptoeing around your feelings is
Yeah.
so unfair.
Yeah,
Like, who the hell
yeah.
do you think you are?
Yeah.
Because बहुत सारे लोग ऐसे भी होते हैं who use friendship as an excuse to somewhere be very self-absorbed and selfish when it comes to what they want, not giving enough attention or leaving room for the other people
Yeah.
they
yeah.
are friends
True.
with to, I don't know, have bad days. And it's somewhere tough to suss that out because you know कहीं ना कहीं अगर आपका किसी के साथ history है दोस्ती की to tell them कि मैं नहीं कर सकता ये is tough.
Yeah,
But
it is probably the most difficult thing to do.
Yeah, अब तो फिर ये तो आपको फिर एज एन इंडिविजुअल खुद ही समझना पड़ेगा ना,
Correct.
कि जैसे आप अपने माँ बाप को सारा टाइम बर्डन नहीं कर सकते, आपको
Correct.
चूड़ियाँ तोड़नी है मम्मी के सामने जाके नहीं तोड़ सकते हर रोज,
Yeah,
बिकॉज
yeah.
उनको नहीं पता है आपको कैसे हेल्प करें.
Yeah.
What you're going through in your career,
Right.
your dad may not have a solution to it. He can guide you depending on how much he knows about being professional in a professional
right,
space,
right.
but
True.
that's about it.
True.
So then either you seek a mentor, or you, if you're going through some bullying, harassment thing, you seek, you know, support in the HR department, or you reach out to a therapist to help you process how to create healthier boundaries.
True.
Your friends and your parents are not your therapists. That you need to understand.
Yeah.
So you may need a person to listen to you, hear you out, just sit
वो
with
ठीक है.
you in
हाँ,
your time of
हाँ,
pain.
हाँ.
But then to hold them accountable to take you through the whole bloody process of your nonsense. Dude, that's really
That is
selfish.
unfair. Yeah. No, I understand because I think and friendship is something that is not very much talked about in detail,
Right.
but we go through this on a
Yeah,
daily basis.
yeah.
You are sharing your flat with roommates,
Right,
and
right.
there are roommate fallouts that happen, and you know,
Yeah,
क्यों रे ये हो
yeah.
गया और तू ऐसे कैसे कर ली, ये
Yeah,
कैसे कर ली.
yeah.
And there are college friendships and school friendships and work friendships, right? तो ये I think I somewhere relate where you mentioned कि यार it's not fair to put your burden on
Yeah.
somebody else just because
Yeah.
you're going through something. Now it's fair that you are going through something, आप बात कर लो. If you need a person to listen, ठीक है, understandable. I'm a friend. I'll stand up with you. I'll be with you. तुम सुनाओ, मैं सुन लूँगा बात. But to necessarily seek a solution always and to just put the burden on that person कि
Yeah.
तुम्हारी वजह से ये हो रहा है या तुम ये
Yeah.
कर रहे हो.
Again and
Bro,
again
like
that
हाँ,
too,
and
you know.
मतलब even I am working, even I am busy, even
Yeah.
you are busy.
Yeah.
ऐसा नहीं है, everybody has work,
Right,
right?
yeah.
तो तुम अपना देखो, मैं अपना देखता हूँ, काम
Exactly.
खत्म. And if you're dealing with something so serious, then it's better to seek professional help.
Yeah.
मतलब
Yeah, you
किसको, who are you fooling?
Exactly. Like, you know, as I said, कोई जिंदगी में tragedy हुई है, suppose if you lose a friend or a parent or a spouse, ठीक है,
Right.
your friends should show up.
Right.
And ideally they should do everything they can to make sure that your grief doesn't consume you. But to get over the grief, you can't be on a call with your friend all the time. You know, some things don't have solutions. Some things have process. Some demons don't go away. You
Right.
know? You just need to learn how to deal with those demons, and your friends can't tell you that because they don't know. You know, they are idiots. So why would you seek advice from random people who have no method to this madness?
True.
Go to a specialist or someone who
Yeah.
can tell you by which step to go where with.
Right.
So
Interesting point you mentioned, and I want to segue into your movie that came out
Right.
on mental health.
Right.
How did that happen? And I've seen that you are a mental health advocate and you speak about
Right.
stuff on the internet
Right.
very openly. One of your, I think, skits with Ankush also was about love and then breaking up.
Yeah.
That was fantastic, by the way. Like
Right, thank
one of my friends, Parth, I think he must have spoken to you on
Yeah.
DMs.
Right.
Parth Rastogi.
Right.
And he told me not to bring this up.
Right.
And I was like, okay, I
Right.
will bring it up. Because that's what friends are supposed to do. So he was like, हाँ उससे पूछ लेना कि देखा था क्या उसने याद है कि नहीं. I was like, yeah, of course.
Right.
So and we were sharing those,
Right.
you know, the video that came out. I was like, yeah. And उसमें IGTV थी.
Right.
तो IGTV में शेयर कर रहे देखो यार, this is so crazy, ये वो. And both of us are a little emotional fools, human beings.
Right.
So we were like, अरे यार क्या बनाया है यार ये लोगों ने,
Right.
ये क्या लिखा है यार, ये क्या है, ये क्या, this is unreal. So And I've seen that you are a advocate for mental health. You've been speaking about it, I think, fairly well on social, and your movie came out about mental health. So what's it about? How did that happen?
So the movie Deepak happened somewhere during the pandemic. I think before the second wave. This is when the first wave was sort of dying out.
Okay.
And I auditioned, I think somewhere in Feb or something, and it worked out, and I shot it in March of, or first week of April तक हमारा shoot था in 2021. And then right after that Delta hit and I got sick and all.
Right.
But yeah, I think the movie is about a boy who's suffering from depression, but you know, his parents are not entirely sensitized to it or mental health in general. And mental health resolution sometimes in a country like ours is an expensive exercise.
Affair. Yeah, true.
So a lot, and because it's not a palpable issue, like you don't see it on your skin.
Yeah,
you know,
true.
it doesn't show in a blood test. So then it's dismissed a lot many times. Like if you tell somebody from your parents' generation or older, for them depression is a phase and अपने आप को busy रखो तो depression
ठीक हो
खत्म
जाएगा,
जाता है.
हाँ.
And maybe there is merit in there because there are ways to not feed the monster.
Yeah.
But you know, sometimes the monster is way larger than
you think.
Yeah, and your coping mechanisms. People die because of these things.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I have seen people in my family dealing with schizophrenia and being in denial about it for at least the first 50 years of their life. To a point that now, in
50 years, 50.
Yeah, you know, one of my Masi, I think she got to accepting that this needs a diagnosis because the pressure came from all the brothers and sisters who are all very emotionally dysfunctional people.
Okay.
Surprisingly. They came together and they figured, okay, we need to seek medical help because this person is really spiraling now. Her stories are out of hand. Okay, this is a very severe episode.
Right.
But the shame and the denial is so hard that at the age of almost 70, she still refuses to take her medication. Does not want to talk about it.
Okay.
Will deny it till she dies. And it's harmed her.
Okay.
In ways that I don't think she even knows. So much so that I had to tell my mother and my Masi that can you please stop bitching about her because she's not saying this to you individually because you've done something like this to her, but this is her, she's a sick person. You know, it's like people in diabetes sometimes fall unconscious randomly when their sugar dips.
Yeah.
Would you scream at them? No, it's their bodily chemical dysfunction doing that.
Right.
So just because they peed in their pants because they fell unconscious is not something that you have to vilify them over.
Yeah.
So anyway, so I feel like this story was around a family like that where the son is suffering and is trying to harm himself. He is harming himself and the mother is very scared, but the father wants to deny it because he's like, you know, I've been through so much, like what the hell is this nonsense, you know. They go to a therapist. I was playing the therapist. The fee of the therapist was a big problem and the father was like, बीमारी क्या है? Solution क्या है? इसको हम पैसे देते रहेंगे? इसका तो गल्ला चलता रहेगा, ये क्या है, वो क्या है?
Wow.
And eventually how somewhere through the course of conversations with the therapist and the improvement that the son saw in his life, the parents came around to being aware कि okay, this is real, let's not deny it. Denial sometimes can be very, very harmful for children and adults also. And so yeah, it was like a life coming full circle kind of story, but with mental health and mental health resolution as the baseline of it. So yeah.
Interesting. And I think ज़रूरी है बात करना because you know it is sort of becomes really pertinent for us as the young generation or maybe the social media generation because social media has played a very huge role at least in starting the conversation because पहले तो बात ही नहीं होती थी पहले तो लगता था कि क्या
access भी नहीं था
correct आज
because of maybe having various modes to access information there is intel on this पहले एक चिट्ठी डिलीवर होने में 15 दिन लगते थे तो आप क्या कौन सी इंफॉर्मेशन कौन से रिसर्च पेपर्स निकाल के किसको बताते हैं और डॉक्टर्स के पास जाना फॉर मेंटल हेल्थ इश्यूज वाज पागल पागल so the stigma around it was so much. So yeah, I mean, you know, if we all have the access to understand कि भाई ये भी एक legit problem है, you know, this is not just a ये तो moody है, you know. पहले like a lot of people who had bipolar
Yeah,
disorder
what's the weirdest thing you've heard, because you go to therapy?
So me, I think
What's the weirdest thing, or maybe from your relatives or your friends, when you maybe told them that you're taking therapy? What's the weirdest thing you've heard?
So I feel like my friends and relatives have never really judged me for it. Relatives को तो इतना मतलब बताने को मतलब ये था कि I think my parents would have a hard time, especially my mom, because I think my relationship with her has been very interesting. You know, it's never been. I think over time we've finally started seeing each other. You know, like how sometimes you see someone, you understand them.
Yeah.
I think it's taken us time, and I think maybe it's taken my mother time to make peace with who I am.
Okay.
For me to have space then to just see her clearly,
right,
you know, and understand where her resistance would come from. So yeah, I think my parents would say, my mom, I'm a moody kid, I'm a difficult kid, I'm stubborn, and I think I'd have a lot of like anxiety driven ups and downs in terms of emotions as a kid, you know. Kid matlab in my teenage or whatever,
right,
you know. So my mother would get very physically violent. She wouldn't know what to do. She'd sometimes think if I start replicating her behavior, she will stop. And I'd find that very distressing because, you know, like I wasn't doing something because it was enjoyable. Like it wasn't.
Yeah, मेरे को मजा नहीं आ रहा ना, मैं जानबूझ के ये नहीं कर रही.
हाँ, you know.
मतलब ये हो रहा है मेरे साथ.
And I would keep telling them मुझे therapy जाना चाहिए, करना चाहिए. उस time किसी को पता भी नहीं था. She'd tell me at the age of 16, आप खुद ढूंढ लो. I was like, मैं कहाँ से counselor ढूंढूं भाई? ये क्या है मुसीबत? Like, you know. But I think over time, I don't know, Deepak, I figured the more I grew up, the more I started reading up about things. So you get an outline, no, that अच्छा ये जो चीज़ है ना ये dysfunctional है.
और बहुत बार बाद में ये समझ में आता है कि इसको थेरेपी बोलते हैं.
नहीं, पर मुझे ना बहुत टाइम तक मैंने थेरेपी एक्टिवली लेनी शुरू करी है 30 साल के बाद.
Okay.
और अभी पिछले 2 साल से मैं रेगुलरली थेरेपी में हूँ. उससे पहले I'd go to maybe a counselor, do a few sessions and then check out. I feel like this process of therapy that I've been continuing for the last 2 years has helped me. It's put a name on the problem that I never thought ये एक pattern है. So I think one of the diagnoses that I've had apart from anxiety is that I have strange attachment patterns.
Okay.
So what happens in that is you keep repeating the same mistake again and again, hoping for a different eventuality.
Okay.
But जब आपका process ही गलत है तो result कैसे अलग आएगा? You know, if you're putting, you know, hydrogen peroxide instead of hydrogen chloride or whatever, HCl, the result that will come will not be right. No matter the measure of chemical you're putting in, you're putting in the wrong chemical. You know, it has to be a different composition. So that's just one of the things which I didn't know is a thing. You know, like I was like, therapy put a lot of theory in
perspective.
You know, it basically gave me a lot of perspective and put a lot of things in context.
Got it.
Which I couldn't do on my own, which internet couldn't do for me, which my mother definitely couldn't do for me. My friends also couldn't do for me because you know they also don't know. I mean, we all have our own little traumas or whatever that we carry in our body through the course of growing up. So yeah, I mean, I feel like I can. और शुरू में तो ये भी होता है कि you know when you take therapy, and sometimes therapy also doesn't work for everyone. It also depends on what sort of a person you are. What are you willing to take away from it?
Right.
It's worked for me. It also depends on the therapist. Sometimes therapists are also, because again this industry is also very unstructured. Right. Very rarely are most therapists like BSc doctorate type people. Sometimes it's also a diploma course or something. You know, sometimes the courses are also very subjective. So it depends on who you're aligned with, and if you don't understand what's going on, because that's what would happen to me initially. I wouldn't know what difference is it making, but
correct,
just some micro changes here and there would make me feel like okay, maybe this is working. And there's a lot of chaos also initially because you're over evaluating everything. Your anger comes out. You stop vilifying certain emotions that you are taught. Like I think anger in women is a big emotion that we are not allowed to put out, because you know, like anger makes you dangerous. Like men being angry is somewhere
It's
normal.
still fine.
Yeah, it's like women smoking in public, you know. Men can smoke in public all they want, walk around with their bellies hanging and chaddi here. You know, I had a neighbor who had a big belly and his chaddi would hang here and he'd walk around, throw the kuda. My maid would avoid him. But imagine a woman doing that.
Yeah.
You know, she'd be thrown out of the society and cancelled somewhere.
Yeah.
So, anger is one of these emotions that you don't, I don't know, the world enjoys seeing in women. So sometimes the repression of it leads to other problems and other ways in which how we become passive aggressive. So that was one thing that I learned, that let your anger flow. But what happens is when your anger flows without you vilifying it, it comes out in a very misplaced way also. Which takes time. A lot of things get into perspective धीरे धीरे, but हाँ मतलब आपको छोड़ना नहीं चाहिए थेरेपी, और आपको लगता है कि आपका फायदा हो रहा है तो करो, you know, महंगा भी पड़ रहा है तो सेव करो, लोन लो.
But I think it makes sense for people if they're going through something. I think just seek professional help. I mean, it's not. I know it's a taboo, but
it's expensive also, Deepak. I'll be honest. I can afford it now.
I mean,
10 years ago I couldn't. You know. And
true.
Yeah.
True. And I'm glad you put it out because ये perspective ज़रूरी है. कि यार ये आपने one random person sitting in some random corner of the internet will say कि और लोग थेरेपी लेने बोल रहे हैं, इनको पता नहीं क्या महंगा है. भैया पता है महंगा है. If you can afford it, please go through it. If you feel that's a solution for you, go through it. See what can be done, because ये जब तक नहीं चलेगा तब तक ये नहीं चलेगा.
And there are organizations who help you pro bono.
Yeah.
Rates are subsidized. You know, do some legwork. To find the right doctor for you.
Right.
And there are
right. So even I know people जो लोग ऐसी organization चला रहे हैं, जो genuinely provide, say like a first session is pro bono and then consecutive sessions are sort of at very subsidized rates. Like it's not going to be that big of a burden for you. Right. But I think just like low yaar, matlab
because
this is
ज़रूरी है. Because we don't take mental health as a legit disease. We don't do the legwork. अगर आपके पास पैसे नहीं है पर आपको कैंसर है, आप जाओगे ना अस्पताल, वेट करोगे ना एम्स की लाइन में. हम अपने मेंटल हेल्थ इश्यूज को ऐसे क्यों नहीं ट्रीट करते? तो मतलब दिस इज आल्सो समटाइम्स द कैंसर ऑफ द ब्रेन विदाउट लीविंग एनी प्रूफ. So
interesting point you bring up here, क्योंकि कुछ दिन I think 2 दिन पहले हमारा एक episode shoot हुआ है and we were speaking about meditation. And one of the persons who was sitting here mentioned कि we are trying to build something, build a 6-pack for the brain.
Right.
और ये मेरे को analogy बहुत अच्छा लगा. Where you work out and you want like a great physique and you know biceps और ये वो 6-pack चाहिए, बड़ा अच्छा लगेगा for your physical fitness. But I think in order to have a healthy mind, you meditate and meditation will help you build a 6-pack for your brain. And that's a brilliant, like I loved the analogy that person brought out, and I think काफी intense है. People don't talk about building a 6-pack for your brain. मतलब मेरे को बहुत अच्छा लगा.
नहीं, I agree 100%.
Anyway, interesting. Let's come to content.
Okay.
ठीक है, content side of things में आते हैं. I remember your iDiva videos.
Man, that was something. But I think then one thing led to the other. I was also doing a lot of like short films, ads here and there. So I think my content game really took off during the pandemic. Because I realized the scope to do anything offline went down. You know, or anything.
2 साल तो कुछ हुआ ही नहीं था.
हाँ, और मुझे अगर कहीं ना कहीं अपनी ज़िंदगी को जस्टिफाई करना है, अपने क्रिएटिव एक्सप्रेशन और रेलेवेंस को हाई रखना है, तो मैं बनाती हूँ कंटेंट. यू नो, ये भी करके करना तो मतलब बनता है, बिकॉज देयर इज this could help, you know, whatever. I didn't think about it too much. I just felt like मुझे जो ideas आते थे.
And you were anyway doing skits at iDiva and all of these things.
And I was like, you know, let me just use it for my own page. I know a few characters I can do right now easily. So the mom character I remember doing.
एक बार करके दिखा दो.
नहीं यार.
एक बार करके दिखा दो.
कौन सा mom? Punjabi mom. Any mom. Listen, no. There's no करके दिखा.
5 seconds.
This is unnecessary pressure.
We need content.
करके दिखा दो.
We need content.
But वो there's nothing special in that character.
Just like the voice. Just like how Punjabi moms speak. Anything.
How Punjabi moms speak. अरे दीपक, तुमने वैसे मुझे ना you put me on the spotlight.
ये हमारा intent यही है. Put you on the spot.
ये कप के अंदर आपने पानी नहीं डाल के रखना है. हैं, इसमें जो कॉफी डाली हुई है वो फिर कौन धोएगा, जो इसकी जो झाग जम गई है उसका क्या, इतने बड़े हो गए हो, इतनी छोटी छोटी बातें मैं बताऊंगी आपको, हैं हर चीज में मम्मी की हेल्प चाहिए आपको, बेशरम. That's the accent. I can't think of content.
No, love it. I love how you just saw the mug and was like, हाँ जा गया. Anyway.
So so I think I started with videos like that, relatable things, and तब Instagram was just videos, photos, IGTV, stories.
Yeah.
Life was
simple.
very
simple.
You know, and then reels came in that really like I was like भाई अब बस खत्म, career over. You know, ये नहीं कर सकती मैं. Thankfully now because they've increased the duration of reels and all, पहले तो it took me a while to understand what is trending audio, all of that.
क्या चल रहा है भाई, मतलब अभी तो कुछ भी वायरल हो रहा है.
मतलब ये वो पर ठीक है यार, मतलब जितने लोग आएंगे that's the growth strategy that internet.
चलो ठीक है, I have a different reservation.
Yeah, I mean I feel like everybody adds whatever value they are capable of adding. So and thankfully the internet is a place where there's room for everyone.
Yeah, true.
So there is an audience for everything. And sometimes there is a lot of audience for dance reels.
Yo,
I wish I could dance. Like I really sometimes I'm like
same.
मैं बहुत कोसती हूँ अपने आप को.
I can't do this.
मेरी मम्मी ने बचपन में मुझे भरतनाट्यम क्लासेस में भेजा था, and I was like this is too much exercise, so I stopped. I feel so bad. Yeah.
I can't do this. ये बड़ा.
Yeah, I know. I try. मैं practice भी करती हूँ कि क्या पता.
थोड़ा कैमरा के सामने बोल ही लेंगे वो ठीक है. ये सब तो sorry.
It's too much.
This is just dance reels in the form of comedy content. Nothing else. It's just like people laughing.
Yeah. I also sometimes wish कि मैंने थोड़ी शायद कुछ ऐसी प्रोफेशनल क्वालिफिकेशन वाली पढ़ाई कर ली होती जिसके लिए मैं थोड़ा सा क्वालिटी प्रोफेशनल ज्ञान वाला
दे पाते
वो दे सकती.
मैं जनरली तब तो फिर माँ बाप ये बोले कि लड़का पागल हो गया क्या.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I've learned to accept everything.
Yeah, I feel just हाँ, मतलब again, it's weird why we need to put disclaimers everywhere because it's funny how the internet works.
It's not even a disclaimer. I feel like I've had the content sometimes I also end up watching is very questionable.
Yeah, it's true.
I realized that it's really feeding somebody's entire ecosystem. That's the only chance they have to maybe make money and sustain themselves. So I'm like, okay, good for luck, good.
Yeah, true. मतलब I'm not dissing at anybody. Please इसको ये निकाल.
नहीं, I know.
Deepak है भैया. और लोग बात करेंगे मुझे मतलब I'm not that famous right now. So anyway, but I think so coming to reels. Yeah. Do you find reels cringe?
Sometimes I do.
Yeah.
Because there are some reels that go viral.
किस टाइप के कंटेंट आपको मतलब बहुत क्रिंज लगते हैं?
यार मुझे ना ऐसे मतलब I think वो जो TikTok स्टाइल का गर्लफ्रेंड बॉयफ्रेंड मतलब है ना कि तू जा, it's like मैं मेरे से शादी करेगा नहीं करूँगा. अच्छा अब मैं बताती हूँ. ठुश 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 कट्टू ये देख मैं नया ले आई. अरे तूने मेरा दिल तोड़ दिया. Like these weird like C-grade cinema max but real something is very like ये क्या हो रहा है like
true.
Yeah, but I think they are so bad that they are good, and I think maybe that's the intention with which the makers do it. Like
I love how you put this so bad.
Yeah, because they actually work, dude. I mean, कुछ नहीं तो वो meme pages पे viral हो जाते हैं, So I feel like that's something that I'm still like.
Do you know of funny, like really cringe Instagram pages? I know a few.
No.
One of them is called shout out to Emo Boys of India.
Oh.
BOI.
Yeah.
It's not boys, it's boys.
Oh.
It's Emo Boys of India. Yeah, it's Emo Boys.
Oh.
It's apparently very cool to do this.
I think I've seen stuff like this.
There's one more page. It's called Reptiles of Kurla.
Oh my god.
It is fantastic.
Oh
it is.
gosh.
Yeah.
So they outsource other reels and put it, or these are the
they
same
have
people?
like a compilation of good crazy ass जैसे TikTok type memes and videos and just what you mentioned right now कि थप्पड़ मारा तूने मेरे प्यार को ऐसे कैसे and then third person comes in cut shot to fourth person going out random entry exit हो रही है people falling people do this to themselves and die
like क्या There's this one reel I saw जिसके अंदर ना उन्होंने एक ये VFX का गंदा सा CG स्नेक डाला हुआ है. अरे नागमणि, मैं नाग बन जाती हूँ, अपनी मणि यहीं छुपाऊंगी. And the lady turns bhujuk into a snake and hides her money. Some guy finds it, and then this girl from a nag turns into a woman again, and she bites him. तूने मेरी मणि चुराई.
I can't.
It's quite something, yeah. I mean, I think maybe I saw it on one of these. So, yeah, that is something that I don't relate to. I'm like, what is this? You know, it reminds me of every like really C-grade film that I've maybe seen at some point growing up, because 80s and 90s were a tricky time for cinema.
Yeah.
So
True.
there could have been movies like this, and this is extremely campy like that in a way.
Yeah.
So anyway, so yeah, that's content that I'm like, ये तो मैं कभी नहीं करूँगी. Maybe as a parody, but not ये क्या है, you know, like.
I think I'm as a creator, I'm giving you one content advice नहीं, मतलब suggestion. Advice तो क्या ही.
Right.
You and Ankush should do one ऐसा cringe TikTok type.
Yeah, we might. I think right now we have a property that's working.
हाँ,
so I
ठीक है,
think
fair
once
enough.
this IP goes down,
Fair enough.
then we'll probably think of another
एक
IP.
तो करना चाहिए because Ankush is funny.
Yeah.
And you are equally funny.
Right.
And
right.
both of you together is funny max.
Yeah.
So
and I feel like I think both of us trip on content like this because
and he also does weird shit like on the internet he's like wearing all kapda and bartan and
yeah.
क्या
Recently he did.
क्या कर रहा है?
Yeah.
So I think both of you, both of you, if you all do a skit like a TikTok skit, I would love it.
Yeah.
I would love it.
I think in the past we have once or twice, but it was.
Yeah, you have.
वो बहुत पहले when TikTok was still functional, so we'd find audios from TikTok and make reels.
Were you on
videos.
TikTok?
Me, I joined it very close to when it shut down.
Same.
And I was very relieved.
Same.
I was like, oh thank God.
बच गया
मैं एक और प्लेटफॉर्म में ग्रो करने का प्रेशर मैं नहीं कर सकती, तो हैंडल नहीं हो रहा है यूट्यूब और इंस्टाग्राम पे, टिकटॉक भी करना पड़ता है बिकॉज़ दैट वाज आल्सो अ ह्यूज मार्केट,
राइट
एंड पीपल वुड मोनेटाइज इट टू, लाइक
yeah absolutely.
सो आई फील बैड फॉर एवरीबॉडी हु लॉस्ट
I was
देयर
exactly just going to say that कि मेरे को थोड़ा खराब लग रहा है क्योंकि टिकटॉक चला गया एंड टिकटॉक इतना वीडियो फर्स्ट प्लेटफॉर्म था ना कि वो उस पे थोड़ा सा भी ढंग का कंटेंट डालोगे तो वो चलेगा. मतलब एंड पीपल वर ग्रोइंग लाइक क्रेजी, लाइक पीपल वर गेटिंग 10 मिलियन फॉलोअर्स ऑन टिकटॉक व्हिच इज नॉट अ जोक. मतलब 1 करोड़ लोग फॉलो कर रहे हैं, आप कोई मजाक की बात तो नहीं है. व्हाट्स द मोस्ट clickbait-y title you've used? Or have you used any? I'm sure you've used.
No, so I don't really purposely use any clickbait title per se.
Okay.
But हाँ,
and this is for Instagram also, like Instagram का जो cover, reel का जो cover होता है. Have you used like a clickbait title so that it works?
No, I use titles which I know will create enough intrigue in people, or something that is commonly associated with,
so that you establish relatability.
Yeah.
Achha.
And I think maybe my background as an editor comes into
because
captions, titles,
you know what might work.
These were the eye catchers, right? Like
यार captions कोई पढ़ता है क्या?
पता नहीं,
मेरे को बताओ.
In the sense कि कभी-कभी अगर आप call to action कुछ डालो तो लोग participate करते हैं. अभी थोड़ा कम लोग बॉदर करते हैं because ultimately आप वीडियो ही देख लेते हैं और कंटेंट भी बहुत है ना, मतलब कितना ही अटेंशन स्पैन छोटा होए जा रहा है. इंस्टेंट ग्रेटिफिकेशन वाला जो एस्पेक्ट है सोशल मीडिया पे इतना ज़्यादा है कि आई डोंट थिंक अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल स्पेंड इनफ टाइम रीडिंग टेक्स्ट एज मच एज दे मे बी स्पेंड वॉचिंग द वीडियो. But sometimes when you open reels, the caption shows on top of the reel. On the true. The text is there on the video itself. Then maybe if there's an interesting call to action or an interesting caption, which again is funny, witty,
true,
interesting or unusual, people then sort of respond to that. Yeah, but I don't think caption is something that.
How much time does it take for Shibani Bedi to shoot a reel?
Yeah, so shooting a reel doesn't take a lot of time. Sometimes getting.
Let's start from the ideation. कि idea से लेके शूट से लेके एडिट से लेके अपलोड से लेके एंड देन does Shibani Bedi read comments and reply and read DMs and reply to DMs?
So DMs I don't really reply, and the reason for that is that I expect these people writing me DMs to engage on my comment thing, you know. So if you comment, I'll reply. If you DM me, I will not reply. so that it's established that आपके DM नहीं चाहिए मुझे, आपको engage करना है मेरे comment में आओ.
जनता
Yes.
सुन लो भैया, ठीक है ना, DM VM ना करो.
Don't DM me.
Hello dear, how are you doing?
Or you want to say something like there are some people who will not like my reel or comment on it and send it into my DM saying wow it's so funny and I'm like comment में लिख देते मतलब. So ये थोड़ा मेरा strategy है कि DM में मैं sometimes like if it's a nice warm message or if it's somebody who's mentioned something, I mean if it's an interesting message or something, or if I'm wanting to connect to some people who've been consistent with their kindness and compliments, or you know regularly watch my content and then sometimes slide into my DMs to say something positive or encouraging, I engage with them in DMs, but usually I keep my engagement mostly to my comments.
अच्छा.
And what was the other thing that you were asking? What time it takes for to make the
time
content.
मैं खुद ही भूल गया, sorry.
So कभी-कभी तो दीपक मेरा थोड़ा creative block चलता रहता है. Sometimes if I'm trying to make something on a trending audio, तब तो it's very easy to
like
it literally
just
takes
jump on it like
2 hours from shooting it, edit तो कुछ करना नहीं होता because it's a small audio clip.
Correct.
Thinking of a caption, maybe sitting on the caption a little bit just to know whether this is the right caption or not.
Okay.
And then posting it. If it's a rant or something.
और ये पोस्ट करने के बाद how much time do you spend tracking की कैसी चल रही है reels? Like do you
on and
refresh
off throughout
and check यार ये
the whole
1000 views हो गए,
So
अरे 10,000
पहले
हो
के
गए.
1-2 घंटे में तो मतलब मैं
Track
track करती
करते
हूँ
हो.
because मुझे comments का वो engagement वाला process.
Do you like track comments or do you track views? Both.
Everything. I mean,
Like do you refresh and see अरे 10,000 views हो गए, अरे इसमें तो यार
Just to see whether the
usually तो
video is
5,000
working or not.
हो जाते हैं, फिर तो 500 में अटका हुआ है, तो ये ऐसा content और नहीं करना चाहिए.
Yeah. नहीं, but the thing is, content कर भी लो, वो algorithm कभी होता है. You know, sometimes the Instagram I've also noticed has a pattern. Every time it's introducing a new change, your engagement goes for a toss. You know, or if there's
So I'll tell you, I've studied this. Instagram का जो algo है ना, वो एक algo नहीं है. Instagram के जो features है ना, जैसे stories है, reels है, static post है, carousel post है, और any other post, हर एक category के अलग-अलग algo है.
Oh.
So reels has a different algo. Stories has a different algo. Carousel posts have a different algo. And static posts have a different algo. और feed पे अगर आप video डाल रहे हो static post में, that is a different algo.
Oh.
Yeah, there's not just one algo.
Right.
And I've read that in Meta's creator policy, उसमें ये mentioned है.
Right.
कि एक algo नहीं है. Algo अलग-अलग है. Of अलग-अलग whatever requirement.
Right.
तो if you are putting out stories, तो stories की engagement बढ़ाने का भी एक trick है. Or maybe like you whatever works for you, that depends on creator to creator.
Right.
Reels में कुछ करने का है तो reels का algo different है. Now it is video first, तो सब लोग video बना रहे हैं. सबको लगता है कि नहीं video बनाएंगे तो ही you know virality होगी. But there are pages I know who just do static posts. Like this very interesting page, shout out to Indian Idiot, the Indian Idiot बोल के एक page है. Fantastic, I love the page. They just have like static posts.
Right.
एक मरून मजेंटा कलर का बैकग्राउंड है, उस पे वाइट कलर का टेक्स्ट है, एंड दे डू मीम कंटेंट, दे डू जस्ट लाइक, एंड दे आर वेरी रिलेटेबल, वेरी फनी, एंड आई लव इट. सो उनका सिर्फ स्टैटिक पोस्ट है, बट इट वर्क्स फॉर देम. राइट. सो एल्गो का ऐसा है ना कि एल्गो अलग अलग है, एक एल्गो नहीं है. दिस इज समथिंग आई हैव अंडरस्टूड, आई हैव रेड आल्सो.
I do feel like, you know, sometimes there is organic push that the algorithm gives.
वो है.
And sometimes there are some days. I think the pattern that I've noticed is that if there's some change that is being introduced, उसके around कुछ तो भी dip मुझे लगता है होता है.
ठीक है.
So I don't know which algorithm or what is the reason behind it, or maybe it's just me being over paranoid. So yeah, sometimes I think videos that I think will do well don't do well. And sometimes random videos which I think ये तो नहीं
चाहिए. होता है ना, ये होता है ना
बहुत बारी. You know,
कि जिसमें मेहनत किया,
right,
वो साला चला ही नहीं, ना लोग शेयर कर रहे हैं, ना कमेंट कर रहे हैं, ना व्यूज आ रहे हैं, जो ऐसे ही बैठे बैठे बना दिया कि हाँ ठीक है देखते जो होगा देखा जाएगा. एंड दैट डिड वंडर्स. आई थिंक पता नहीं टाइमिंग को लेके भी होता होगा, मे बी
perhaps, पता नहीं, मतलब दीपक मैं तो see sometimes I have a fixed time where I post, a fixed window.
अच्छा,
of time
क्या है
I
वो
post.
टाइम?
I think sometimes it's between 12 o'clock in the afternoon till about 2:30, and then later between 6 o'clock or 5:30 to 7:38.
ये आपका विंडो है?
मतलब हाँ, तो मुझे लगता है कि मेरा एंगेजमेंट थोड़ा सा हाई
अच्छा,
होता है इस टाइम
अच्छा।
पे. सॉरी, who's calling?
Okay.
Wow, whose call is coming? I have no idea. Anyway,
हाँ.
so yeah, so that's the
Interesting.
situation.
What's the most expensive thing you own that you bought from your own money? Most expensive thing?
My iPhone. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the most expensive. Apart from that, yeah, I'm not a very expensive things kind of
Low
girl.
maintenance.
Yeah.
How much do you order from Swiggy and Zomato?
Yeah, so I think since I moved to Bombay, I've had to because
Yeah.
initially.
Do you know how to
setting up
cook?
the kitchen. Some like to survive. I'm
Okay.
not an expert cook, but I sometimes enjoy.
क्या
cooking.
बना लेते हो?
तो मैं आई थिंक दाल वाल पनीर सब्जियां सब बना लेती हूँ. मुझे खाना बनाना आता है, बट आई एम नॉट, मतलब इट्स
अच्छा,
नॉट
वैसे
थेरेपी
got
फॉर
it.
मी,
Got it. अच्छा, okay. Oh, yeah,
जैसे
yeah.
कोई सब्जियां काट दो प्लीज मेरे लिए, मैं साथ में डाल के बना लूँगी. मुझे पता है कितना
Yeah,
मुझे
yeah.
मसाला चाहिए, क्या करना है.
अच्छा.
थोड़ा बहुत आई कैन एक्सपेरिमेंट हियर एंड देयर, बट आई एम अ वेरी नॉन फसी ईटर.
हाँ.
I enjoy simple home cooked food. I like protein in my food, so my
बढ़िया.
protein intake requirements are also very less because I can't eat eggs.
हाँ.
So I can only have like chicken or soy or paneer.
Okay.
And then every
आज
other
पनीर ही
vegetable.
बना है. ठीक है.
So every other vegetable is like an add-on for
Okay.
fiber.
Okay.
And one second again.
You can take the call if you want.
यार
Phone
I
pass
don't
कर दोगे
know
मुझे
why.
तो?
मेरे बैग के अंदर पड़ा
अच्छा,
हुआ है.
अंदर तो बैग ही पास कर दो.
Thank you. And this Amazon person is again and again calling. I don't even know what's going on.
कोई नहीं.
Hello?
Podcast पे Amazon वाले पे आएगी.
हाँ जी. हाँ? Hello? Hello? Hello?
ये होता है मतलब when I don't have my phone with me,
Yeah.
all the calls will come
Yeah,
that
yeah,
time
yeah.
only.
Yeah, because thankfully my mother hasn't called. She'll
Acha.
also call, and my mother has this problem like these Amazon delivery people. You don't take it once,
हाँ.
that's not enough. They call you again and again and again. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Anyway.
calling you.
Thanks. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Weird fan moment or anything, any story that you can remember of.
I think that like when the IDVA videos started or whatever, and I think this Instagram culture, social media thing was still like a new thing.
Yeah.
So sometimes, and I have this, like in Delhi, I used to have this thing that I used to love walking in Delhi, in certain parts of Delhi.
Yeah.
With a friend or just alone or something. And there
Yeah.
were some 2-3 instances. Like the funniest was this one time when I had gone to a market close to my house to get a
Okay.
head massage.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm covered in oil, सर से लेके हाथ पैर सब. मैंने पेडिक्योर भी कराया है, सर भी अपना धुलवाया. And I'm wearing like घर के गंदे से कपड़े जो भी. तेल लगा के एकदम सपाट करके सब कुछ. I'm coming back home. And I see a car like crossing me. And I'm like, okay, this is weird. And then I see this car like chasing me down to the gate of my house. And suddenly a man comes out. Ma'am, आप वो वीडियो करते हो ना? I was like, हाँ. Very, very good, big fan.
Very good, big fan.
I was like, आपको मेरा नाम ही नहीं पता है, but big fan, thank you. और ऐसे बहुत big fans हैं जिनको मेरा नाम नहीं पता.
नाम नहीं पता है.
Once I remember this one woman, I'd gone for some event. She comes in front of me. Kusha! And I'm like, no. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, what do you say?
Yeah, I mean, क्या ही बोलोगे?
Thanks, but
Thanks,
no,
but no,
I'm
Kusha.
not who you think. But
Shibs.
thank you, I think you are.
Shibs.
Yeah, perhaps, or maybe thank you. You probably have seen me and are excited, but I am sorry. I am not the one you think I am. And एक बार ऐसे भी, I was walking in Hoska somewhere. Another car crosses.
ये गाड़ी वाले के साथ गाड़ी वाला सारे इंसिडेंट.
यार पहले ही गाड़ी वाले बड़े होते थे. अब तो मतलब everybody is a creator ना. मतलब अब तो that charm of somebody being visible and famous or just something new is gone. I think now the market is huge and people are tired of watching content. So now everybody is like, great.
When everybody is famous, nobody is famous.
Yeah, every building has 3 creators now, I think. In my building also there must be. My building also has almost 4 creators. 2 in my house.
This is excluding your house. Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
Yeah, and then like 3-4
yeah. Achha.
So there's a lot of desensitized outlook now. And nobody, and Bombay generally, or maybe Delhi also now to some extent, is not enamored by faces they see on screen anymore. Unless maybe a Ranveer Singh, if he walks into your house, you'd be like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Or a Shah Rukh Khan. I mean, that is different, but in terms of like people you see, there's not a lot of like intrigue anymore. But at least 5 years ago, वो गाड़ी चली, I noticed something off. Then it stopped. Okay, and I'm walking and I didn't read too much into it because I was like, अच्छा ये तो हॉस्कास एरिया है, गाड़ी तो रुक सकती है.
हाँ ठीक है.
Big deal. And अब वहाँ पे उस पे मतलब वो भी कलर भी गाड़ी का ट्रांसपेरेंट नहीं था खिड़की का. Like it was slightly like blue tinted and all. Anyway, walking. Suddenly I reach the car. It opens. A woman comes out. I'm very big fan of your videos. You do that videos now. And I'm like, yes. Wow. What is this creep culture, bro? I love you, but really, what? Because you know, for a minute, as a woman walking on Delhi road, your car like, just suddenly stops and opens. You're like, भाई,
क्या हो रहा है?
Pepper spray भी नहीं लाया आज तो मैं अपने बैग में. And I think when women show up, it's still a little less like stressful.
Yeah.
If it's a dude who walks out who's trying
and
to...
And that too, it was like, imagine a buffed up dude.
No, and that too right in front of my... You followed me to my gate. You know, like literally the gate of my building. No, it was an individual house or something, whatever, you know, like in the colony that I was staying, there was no building. It was just a lane of houses.
Yeah.
I would like die. So I think these were some really weird fan moments where I was like, okay, this is attention that I do not appreciate. Like, it's too much for my...
Do you do mimicry?
Stress. Not very well, but मतलब I try.
Who can you mimic?
Nobody. I am not mimicking, यार. It's not my
करो ना
strong
try
suit.
कुछ.
नहीं. दीपक आप करो. आप भी करते हो अच्छा. चलो आप.
मैं तो करता हूँ.
आज आप हमें करके दिखाओगे आप क्या अच्छे से करते हो.
मैं तो उपमन्यु का कर लेता हूँ थोड़ा सा.
अच्छा करो. हाँ आपका थोड़ा आवाज पैटर्न मुझे लगता है.
ऐसी क्या बात हो गई?
हाँ.
तो देखो कोविड का सेकेंड वेव आ गया तो क्या करना फिर. और घर से बाहर निकल कौन रहा है. देखो सारी समस्या का हल सिर्फ एक है. घर में रहो. है ना. घर से बाहर निकलोगे किसी से मिलोगे कोविड हो जाएगा. कोविड की क्या प्रॉब्लम है. घर पे रहो. ठीक है ना. So this is a little bit here and there. That
I legit felt like it was you, like it was Upmanyu talking.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Thank you. So I've mimicked Upmanyu and Sadhguruji also have tried.
Oh.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't want to take the risk. Pata nahi. Well, no this is how it is. You want to do an MBA?
Yeah.
Think about the other options. Well, MBA is not the option. MBA is a choice. Well, are you with me? Hello? Yes? No? So, a little bit here and there.
Right.
थोड़ा सा ऐसे हो गया, but
you do a very defined Sadhguru. I mean, you sound more Sadhguru than Sadhguru does.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Wow.
That's very nice.
My God.
Yeah.
I'm very flattered.
You should think of being a cult leader soon.
Yeah.
You should.
All right, en route becoming a cult leader.
Yeah.
Now. Anyway, this has been a fun episode. Your final thoughts on this camera, and we would want you to bring out your Gurgaon wali Buaji wala accent and give your final thoughts on the episode. सच सच बता देना क्या अच्छा लगा क्या बुरा लगा ताकि हम इम्प्लीमेंट कर सकें नेक्स्ट एपिसोड्स के लिए.
मैं सोचूं मैं बुआजी जैसे बोलूं या नॉर्मली बोलूं.
नहीं नॉर्मली तो मज़ा नहीं आएगा ना फिर. नॉर्मली तो फिर पूरा एपिसोड नॉर्मली गया ना. ओह या कुछ तो ऐसे कंटेंट भी तो वर्क करना चाहिए ना. एपिसोड जब जाएगा लाइव तो व्यूज भी तो आने चाहिए.
हेलो राजे, इस पॉडकास्ट पे आके मुझे बहुत अपॉर्चुनिटी मिली है अपने शो बिजनेस के बारे में बात करने के लिए. यहाँ पे मुझे बहुत स्पेशल फील कराया गया है. वैसे तो मैंने ज़्यादा एफर्ट नहीं डाले हैं पर मुझे बिल्कुल सेलिब्रिटी के जैसे फील कराया आपने. अब तो हेमा मालिनी के बाद मुझे लगता है मेरा ही नेचुरल फेस मार्केट में सबसे ज़्यादा वाटर प्यूरीफायर बेचेगा. तो अब आप प्रतीक क्या नाम है बेटा दीपक को बोलो कि ये वीडियो में थोड़ा सा पैसे दे के शो बिजनेस लगाए और मेरे थोड़े फॉलोअर बढ़ा दें। मेरा एक पेज तो वैसे इंस्टाग्राम ने बर्बाद कर दिया क्योंकि उसके पीछे बहुत सारे ट्रोल्स पड़ गए थे। दीपक पता है बहुत ट्रेजेडी हुई है मेरे साथ।
क्या हुई है बुआजी?
और कोई ट्रोलिंग हो गई, मैंने कुछ कहते मेरा पेज जब्त करा दिया है शिबानी बेदी के चक्कर में।
ओहो।
तो आप ये वीडियो में थोड़ा पैसे लगाना, पॉकेट मनी चाहिए तो मैं दे दूंगी। और जैसे मेरा फेस एकदम नेचुरल है वैसे आप इस वीडियो को भी नेचुरली बूस्ट करा देना।
अरे बिल्कुल बुआजी।
और मेरे को फॉलोअर दिला दो बस, और लाइक शेयर कमेंट आप लोग कर लो जो भी देख रहा है, और बस दोनों की दुकान चला दो बस।
Lovely. Thank you so much guys for watching. If you like the episode, please hit like, share, subscribe. बाकी शेयर वेयर कर देना। और बस यही है, अभी तक देख रहे हो तो आपके पास भी ज़िंदगी में बहुत टाइम है तो आप भी मतलब काम वाम कर लो भैया। But thank you so much guys for watching. I hope you liked the episode. If you like it, then share it around. You know the drill. And I will put Shibani's all social media handles in the description. Go follow her, subscribe. 2 बार मत दबा देना, अगर सब्सक्राइब ऑलरेडी किया है तो वापस दबाने की जरूरत नहीं है, ठीक है ना? हाँ, फिर नहीं तो फिर वो अनसब्सक्राइब हो जाता है, ठीक है ना? अनफॉलो भी हो जाता है, तो वो मत कर देना। But thank you so much guys. Thank you Shibani for doing this, for being on the show. And we had fun.